of idea that I came up with recently could be useful for some different projects. Over here I have this really crappy dashboard from old Nissan, and you know, all the surface was really cracked, really deep, and you know, it bulging. This cracks was really nasty. This is Cyprus, so the temperatures here gets very high, so the foam underneath is really pretty much cooked. And to fill that gaps, I came up with a quite very easy recipe for a putty that will you know, mimic the original material that it's made of. Then I'm gonna sand it off and paint it with like chalkboard paint. Maybe I even add some reinforcement with fiberglass on the top of it. It doesn't have to be super pretty, it just needs to look a little bit better than it is now. So let me show you the quick tip to get yourself some wood powder. Here I have ash from my belt sander, so this is really fine. This comes from a belt sander. I'm sure that if you would use, let's say, chips like from a bandsaw, it would also be good. I don't think it should be any finer than that. I'm gonna use this ash because I used it before and it worked really nice. Basically, when you have it straight out of the machine, it's really too dry. As you can see, it's taking off with the wind, so this is it has to be a little bit wet. What I'm using is the spray bottle, and we need a sort of good atomization. Give it a few sprays and use a drill with a whisk to mix it. I think it's good enough. It should have some moisture. Okay, I think it's good enough. As you can see, I can make it into a it gives up and it crumbles, so it's not too wet, and the moisture content is necessary for the second ingredient, which is the polyurethane glue. Now I'm not sure if this one will cooperate with us. Yeah, I think. Okay, so I recommend to use a small container. I'm using these plastic cups. Basically taking a few scoops of that. Don't do too much at the time, because actually, you know, you have potentially quite a lot of time to use that, but nevertheless it's easier to mix it in a smaller quantities. We'll just add a little bit of this glue into that. It's almost like a spoon. Portions. Right now it's becoming too thick. You see, I cannot even spread it, so I'm gonna add a little bit more of glue. We add a little bit more glue. Okay, I think that's perfect. It's like a thick peanut butter without nuts. Okay, and we simply spread it into those holes. Oh, it already starts to expand. It's already starting to expand. It will not happen that nicely if you didn't add the moisture. It's not easy to operate that because it sticks really good to everything, also to your knife. Okay, we'll leave it on that. We'll come back later. Anyway, I can show you how it looks at the end, because this is what I did as a test. So this is basically flush with the surface. It's, you know, it's a porous and so on, but I think it's okay. And if you push it over here and if you push it on the foam, it's basically the same hardness. So I applied the last portion of the putty. This is still flexible here on the tool. My fingers are already sticky from that, even though I used gloves. I have just enough glue to do the job I wanted, and if you would do it with a full container, I would rather suggest to use the nozzle and squeeze it a little bit to it, because if you pick it up with a knife, you will always get some stuff getting in there, and this will harden very easy if there's a excess of moisture. I used only half of the wood dust, so this one, you know, it's nothing. I can basically throw it away. I'll just dry it and put it back to the container. Doesn't matter. Yeah, and let's see how it looks. It's already like expanded to 90% of this what will be. It already hardens. If you touch it, it's sticky. So I'm gonna let it dry completely for the next at least a day. I mean, not necessary, but I have time. I mean, this car is not going anywhere and no one waits for it. In the end, what I wanted to add is that if you are using this mixture, try not to add too much moisture. A little is necessary, but a little too much is will cause huge voids inside. I mean, this glue will basically expand like crazy, and you will have a problem with large bubbles, big voids after you cut it. You see here there is, like, you know, let's say 2-3 millimeters bubbles in this that was already dried and cut. If you put too much moisture, you will have like 5 millimeters, sometimes even up to centimeter gaps, which definitely you don't want to have. Yeah, and then I think that's it. Maybe I will add at the end of the video the end result of it, or I will just post it as it is, because this is basically what I wanted to demonstrate today. Thank you for watching. More videos coming soon.